Section 222. Vaisampayana said, Then Dhananjaya, informed of the assent of Yudhishthira and ascertaining, O Janemajeya, that the maiden had gone to the Raivataka hill, obtained the assent of Vasudeva also, after having settled in consultation with him all that required to be done. Then that bull of Bharata's race, that foremost of men, with Krishna's assent, riding in his well-built car of gold equipped with rows of small bells, and with every kind of weapon, and the clatter of whose wheels resembled the roar of the clouds, and whose splendor was like unto that of a blazing fire, and which struck terror into the hearts of all foes, and unto which were yoked the steeds, Saiva and Sugriva himself, accoutred in mail and armed with sword, and his fingers encased in leathern gloves, set out as it were on a hunting expedition. Meanwhile, Subhadra, having paid her homage unto that prince of hills, viz. Raivataka, and having worshipped the deities, and made the Brahmanas utter benedictions upon her, and having also walked round the hill, was coming towards Dwaravati. The son of Kunti, afflicted with the shafts of the god of desire, suddenly rushed towards that Yadava girl of faultless features, and forcibly took her into his car. Having seized that girl of sweet smiles, that tiger among men proceeded in his car of gold towards his own city, Indraprastha. Meanwhile, the armed attendants of Subhadra, beholding her thus seized and taken away, all ran, crying towards the city of Dwaraka, reaching altogether the Yadava court, called by the name of Sudharma. They represented everything about the prowess of Partha unto the chief officer of the court. The chief officer of the court, having heard everything from those messengers, blew his gold-decked trumpet of loud blare, calling all to arms. Stirred up by that sound, the Bhoja, the Rishnis, and the Handakas began to pour in from all sides. Those that were eating left their food, and those that were drinking left their drink. Those tigers among men, those great warriors of the Rishni and the Handaka tribes, took their seats upon their 1,000 thrones of gold covered with excellent carpets, and variegated with gems and corals, and possessed of the lustre of blazing fire. Indeed, they took their seats upon those thrones like blazing fires, receiving faggots to increase their splendor. And after they were seated in that court, which was like unto a conclave of the celestials themselves, the chief officer of the court, assisted by those that stood at his back, spoke of the conduct of Vishnu. The proud Rishni, heroes of eyes red with wine, as soon as they heard of it, rose up from their seats, unable to brook what Arjuna had done. Some amongst them said, Yoke our cars, and some bring our weapons, and some said, Bring our costly bows and strong coasts of mail, and some loudly called upon their charioteers to harness their cars, and some from impatience themselves yoked their horses decked with gold unto their cars. And while their cars and armors and standards were being brought, loud became the uproar of these heroes. Then Valadeva, white and tall as the peak of Kailasa, decked with garlands of wild flowers and attired in blue robes, and proud and intoxicated with drink, said these words, Ye senseless men, what are ye doing? When Janardana sitteth silent, without knowing what is in his mind, vainly do we roar in wrath. Let the high-souled Krishna give out what he proposeth, accomplish promptly what he desireth to do. Then all of them, hearing those words of Yalayuda that deserved to be accepted, exclaimed, Excellent, excellent. Then all became silent. Silence having been restored by the words of the intelligent Valadeva, they took their seats once more in that assembly. And Rama, that oppressor of foes, spoke on to Vasudeva, saying, "Why, O Janardana, sittest thou gazing silently? O Achyuta, it was for thy sake that the son of Pritha had been welcomed and honored by us. It seemed, however, that the vile wretch deserved not our homage. What man is there born of a respectable family that would break the plate after having dined from it, even if one desired to contact such an alliance? Yet remembering all the services he hath received, who is there desirous of happiness that acts so rashly, that Pandava, disregarding us, and thee too, hath today outraged Subhadra, desiring to compass his own death? He hath placed his foot on the crown of my head. How shall I, O Govinda, tamely bear it? Shall I not resent it, even like a snake that is trodden upon? Alone shall I today make the earth destitute of Kauravas. Never shall I put with this transgression by Arjuna." Then all the Bhojas, Rishnis, and Andakas present there approved of everything that Valadeva had said, deeply roaring like unto a kettle drum are the clouds. Thus ends the 222nd section in the Subhadra-harana Parva of the Adi Parva.